Is Social Security the best retirement plan ever? Oh my goodness, Josh. I'm going to trigger some people here today because we're going to talk about the benefits of Social Security and people are going to be triggered. All right, good. That looks good. All right, let me bust out the PVC. Always got to get the world-class, famous PVC because this is the epitome of professionalism. All right. So you hear all these fools that say, we need a replacement rate of 80%. So if you have $100,000 of income, people say we need $100,000 of income while we're working. Fools will say we need $80,000 in which to maintain our current standard of living in retirement. It's silly, but we'll just go with that for anyway. It's okay. It's dumb. Don't use that, but that's the rule of thumb, which came from what? Oh, insurance companies. Insurance companies, why would they say that? Well, they don't have anything to sell you. You know, insurance products. Anyway, but that's me. So it's silly. Rule of thumbs are dumb in that regard, but it is what it is. All right. So what I've done here is I've taken 3 different scenarios using Social Security income based on salary. I've married, filing jointly, and single. All right. So what we're doing here is we're saying we got married, filing jointly. I don't know if you can see that. We got one income. That's their income right here. 50,000, 100,000, 150. All right. Married, filing jointly, one income. So I was using Susie Sample in this. So Susie Sample made $50,000 for the whole family, but she's married. So her husband, Dougie B. Fresh, wasn't making any money. He wasn't working. So Susie made $50,000, married, filing jointly. Dougie B. did not work. In this case, both Susie and Dougie B made $25,000. Does that make sense? So we got $50,000 as their household income. This first scenario is for just Susie made the money, Dougie B did not work. The second scenario, both Dougie B and Susie made $25,000 each to give them $50,000 of household income. All right. And then we did $100,000. They both made $50,000 each, or Susie made $100,000 and Dougie B did not make anything. Then we got $150,000. All right. So for my man Carl, pooping while standing, you don't do enough for single people. Dude. Carl, he gets it. So before you say, you stop making fun of Carl, he gets it. Carl, you'd be stunned how many people come to your defense when I made fun of you a couple times, a couple videos like, okay, Carl, single, huh? And people are like, how dare you mock your audience? Like people literally thought I was mocking you. I am in a way, but it's a fun way. It's what men do, by the way. Men have this ability to mock each other. We even get into fist fights, and then next day we're drinking pints of Guinness. That's how men operate, just as an FYI. So if you're not familiar with the ways of men, because in this day and age, men are bad, verboten, or verboten, whatever the word is. How dare I act like a man? Don't you know? Male, what do they call it? Toxic masculinity. Yeah, give me some more toxic masculinity, please. How dare you? Anyway, it's fun. Men can goof off, fight, drink, and just have fun. All right, so in this case, we got single Susie. She's not married, filing jointly. She just made $50,000, $100,000, $150,000. All right. So the red numbers are how much we got from Social Security, just assuming that they made this kind of income the course of their lives. All right. So in this case, we got $50,000 of income, married, filing jointly, between single Susie, because she all made the money, and her Dougie B. Fresh spousal benefit, they made $43,000 of Social Security. $43,000 of Social Security, when they made $50,000 of income, that's an 80% replacement rate. That's pretty good, 86%. So remember, we're trying to get 80% for some reason. So in this case, they got an 86% replacement rate if they made $50,000. Now, if both Dougie B and Susie made $25,000 each, you can see they got less Social Security benefit. All right, interesting. That shows the value of the spousal benefit. Cannot stress this enough. So in this case, they only made $37,000 of Social Security benefits on $50,000 of income, and now our replacement rate has dropped all the way down to 74%. So they go from 86% to 74%. The reason is because Social Security is progressive. It gives you more replacement income the lower income you get. The more income you get, the lower it gives you a higher replacement income, the less income you receive as work. All right. So if you don't make that much money, they're going to replace more of that income. If you make a lot of money, they're going to replace less of that income. So in this case, they made $50,000. They got 86% replacement rate. On here, on the other hand, they made $150,000. they only got a 51% replacement rate. Hope that makes sense. Again, it's progressive. You're going to get replaced. Your replacement will be higher the lower income you make for your salary when it comes to Social Security. All right. So again, they go from 86% to 65%, all the way down to 51% replacement rate. And that's the progressive nature of Social Security. Cannot stress this enough. Now that's with single Susie making money and Dougie B. Fresh not making any money. If Dougie B. Fresh actually makes half of their household income, the replacement rate goes to 74, 57, and 51. Isn't that interesting? All right, so when Dougie B. Fresh works, it actually reduces the amount of Social Security they get. Crazy, is it not? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In this case, it's about the same, 150, because they're basically maxing out on your spouse, because they're both making $75,000. But here it's, look, that's $8,000 less. So Doug is being penalized when it comes to Social Security for working. You know, the Center for Retirement Research over at Boston College talks about that quite a bit, actually. And that's one of the things I do appreciate them making light of, or not making light of, bringing light to the attention of that when the two household income actually hurts you for Social Security. As you can see right here, it went from $43,000 Social Security to $37 when Doug works. Went from $65,000 Social Security to $57 when Doug works. Here it went up a little bit because they're both making $75,000. All right, so now we're going to go over to single Susie. She made $50,000. She's a single lady. She has $28,000 of Social Security. Her replacement rate is only 56%. Ooh, again, Social Security is definitely geared towards the spouse without question. Being married is a big deal when it comes to Social Security benefits. That's all there is to it. Replacement rate of 86% when they're married. Replacement rate of 56% when single Susie is single. Isn't that sad? Goes from 56 to 43 to 34. All right. So again, single Susie's maxing out here. She's only getting $51,000 of Social Security. We're taking it at our full retirement age, by the way. $51,000 of Social Security divided by her previous income. That's a 34% replacement rate. Oh my goodness. Oh, but oh, by the way, if you like these videos, you want to subscribe to my email list. It's the Doobly Duke. If they help you and you want to buy me a cup of coffee, decaf only. I'm hyper enough. Don't need your calf. It's in the Doobly Duke as well. $5, dude. Buy me a cup of coffee. $5. You don't want to be miserly, do you? Do you? All right. So in this case, we see if we go all the way over, the lower the income, the higher the replacement rate. All right, 56, 43, 34. That's for a single person. So Social Security is definitely skewed towards married people. That's all there is to it. Now, what does one thing not show you, though? Oh, we have to pay tax on this money. All right. So single Susie's $50,000. She paid $10,000 of taxes. Income. And we have her living in Georgia, right? Because she's single taxpayer. She paid 20% effective tax rate. For FICA, 7.65, state of Georgia, and Sniffy Joe. You know, she had to give 10% to the big guy, because you got to get the big guy rich, right? No one's going to jail unless you're a Republican and you happen to wave a flag on January 6th. Then you're going to jail, but you know, you can be crackhead and deal drugs and all that stuff. Go to Burisma and freaking go to Ukraine, you know, freaking. But no one's going to jail. But how dare you go wave a flag on January 6th? All right, so in this case, we have $10,000 of taxes. So if you're paying $10,000 of taxes, and inherently single Susie is not netting $50,000, she's only netting $40,000. It's $50,000 she grosses, $10,000 goes to the big guy. I'm walking away with $40,000. I have $28,000 of Social Security that doesn't need to replace $50,000, it needs to replace $40,000. So my replacement rate here is 70%. 70%. That's freaking fantastic. My replacement rate here is 59%. My replacement rate here is 50%, 49%. Dude, if you think you need an 80% replacement rate, I don't know what to tell you. That's nuts. You don't. I mean, you could. You know, Carl might. Normal people don't. Especially if you got no debt. Your mortgage is paid off, you got no debt, your kids are out of the house, you don't need an 80% replacement rate. It's all fake. Insurance propaganda. So when you factor in the taxes, single Susie here made $150,000 of income. She paid $45,000 in taxes. She netted $105,000. That $105,000 is replaced by $51,000 of Social Security. That's almost a 50% replacement ratio net of taxes. And you can only do this net of taxes because you're not walking home with 150. You're walking home 150 minus your taxes. You're walking home with 105. You don't need to replace 150. You need to replace 105. So she gets 51,000 from Social Security, which replaces 50% of her pre-tax or her post-tax income that she made. That's for single Susie. 70, 59, 49. I'll take that any day of the week and say, yeah, you're probably going to be pretty good to retire. On here, we got married filing jointly. We got 70 pre-tax. So check this out. So we got $50,000. All right. They're going to make $43,000 of income if just single Susie worked. No, not single Susie, but Susie, because she's not single. She's married to Dougie B. Fresh. $50,000 of income. Social Security is going to replace $43,000 of that. How much taxes did they pay? They paid $8,000 of taxes roughly, which means 50 minus 8 is $42,000. They netted $42,000. How much does Social Security pay? $43,000. It's over a 100% post-tax replacement rate. All right, now we got both Dougie B and single Susie work, $25,000 each. Their Social Security is $37,000. Their taxes they paid was $8,000. So 50 minus 8 is $42,000. Social Security gives them 37% of that. The replacement rate is $88,000, 88%. 88%. They're freaking fine. Fine, I tell you. It's nuts. Here, we'll go to the high end. Single Susie and made $150,000. She paid $36,000 in taxes because she's married filing jointly. All right. So 150 minus 36 is $114,000. $114,000 is being replaced by $77,000 of Social Security. $77,000 means she has a 51% replacement rate on that kind of income right there. Lastly, we got the middle bracket here. $100,000 of income. They paid $20,000 of taxes. That means they netted $80,000. They get $57,000 or $65,000 of Social Security replacement. That means the replacement rate is 81 to 71%. Yeah, that's guaranteed with a cost of living adjustment too that the government guarantees. And if you don't want the government to guarantee, you're like, oh, the government, I'll trust the government. How are you paying for Medicare? How are you paying for health care? Oh, I'm going to medical. I'm going to Medicare. Right. Because Social Security is bankrupt, but Medicare is in a good place. Oh, we need to defend the border, send the military. How are you going to defend the borders? Oh, Department of Defense. Oh, how's the Department of Defense funded? Is the Department of Defense, are they running surpluses? No, we have freaking deficits as far as the eye can see. None of these things are funded. It's all going to fall. It's all a Ponzi scheme. But everyone just wants to pick on Social Security, so they scare the living bejesus out of people so they keep working. There's not enough money to fund Ukraine. There's no $6 billion laying around some bank account at what we call the demand deposit account, DDA, at freaking USA.com, USA.com bank account. It doesn't work like that. We're running deficits, which means we spend more than's got coming in on top of the $32 trillion of debt. So when people say, yeah, but Social Security is bankrupt, the Department of Defense is bankrupt. EPA is bankrupt. The Department of Education is bankrupt. It's all bankrupt if you want to look at it in terms of we don't have the cash flow to pay the bills. It's not there. So before you start freaking out about Social Security, say, so what are you going to do instead? Oh, never mind going on Medicare. What are you going to do instead? I'm going to put the stock market, because the stock market is not contingent at all on the government largesse. Come on. Social Security is the best retirement plan there is. And I say that as a Republican. I say that as a guy who could not stand FDR, the big clown, because he was a tyrant for sure, 100%. And he was racist. Remember, Jesse Owens didn't even get an audience with FDR. But you know who gave Jesse Owens an audience? Hitler. Hitler gave Jesse Owens an audience, but not FDR. So before you libs start freaking out about FDR, remember, he's a racist tyrant, 100%, without question. However, this is a good program. Is it the best program there is for retirement? 100%. 100%, unequivocally. Stop discounting Social Security. You sound like a clown, especially when you're sitting there going to go on Medicare, or you say, more money to Ukraine! Fight those commie bastards! You just sound like an idiot. There's no money for any of this stuff. At least Social Security can put food on the table and give you a decent life when you retire. If that's the worst case scenario, that's not a bad place to be. Love your thoughts. We'll see you.